या कुन्देन्दु तुषारहार धवला या शुभ्रवस्त्राविता या वीणावरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेतपद्मासना या ब्रह्मच्युत शङ्करा प्रभृतवीर देवैः सदा वन्दिता सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती निःशेषजाड्यापहा। धन्यवाद.
Very nice. God bless you, better. So, Ayati just said prayer of Goddess Saraswati. So, why do we pray Goddess Saraswati? Anybody? Today I'm going to ask, give names. How is that? In Inika, you don't talk much. Why do we pray Goddess Saraswati? Any idea?
I'm not too sure.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. Okay. Ira, can you hear me? Devanshi, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay, very good. So why do we pray Goddess Saraswati?
We pray Goddess Saraswati for education, as she is known as the goddess of education and for the books.
Very good. So Goddess Saraswati is regarded as goddess of knowledge, goddess of wisdom. So whenever we start some new education, then we pray Goddess Saraswati. So when you start school first time, or any new book starts reading, you read, you pray to Saraswati. So Goddess Saraswati is married to whom? Any idea? Who is her husband? Anybody?
Sir, can you repeat your question, please?
So who is Goddess Saraswati married to? Okay, Anjana, go ahead. Anjay, go ahead.
Brahmaji.
Brahmaji, beautiful, very good answer. So we have, they call them Trinity, like three gods, Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh, right? So we believe that Brahma is the creator. He created the whole world, or Brahmand, or universe and everything. And Vishnu is considered as somebody who nourishes us, gives us food and everything so that we can live. And Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh. And who is Mahesh?
Shivji.
Lord Shiv, yeah, Shivji. So Shivji is considered destroyer, that he destroys things or destroys the world, something like that. So they have their respective spouses, and Brahma's spouse is Saraswati. So Brahma is also considered a very, very wise god. You know, if you say male god in terms of wisdom, that's Brahma. So Brahma, Vishnu is a goddess, goddess of Saraswati. So Saraswati prayer is said whenever we start anything new, which is educational or of that nature. So if I'm opening this Sri Ramcharitmanas, the book that we are kind of using. So in the very beginning of this Ramcharitmanas, this is my Hindi version, it's available in English version also. In the very beginning, very first shloka, Tulsidaji says, Varna Namarth Sanghanam Rasanam Chandasamapi Mangalanam Chakarat Tarau Bande Vani Vinayako. So he is praying Vani, that is Saraswati, and Vinayak, that is Ganeshji. So praying both of them in this. So if we also pray Ganeshji when you start something new, anything new auspicious, like you move to a new house, or you have a new wedding in the family or anything, or you embark on new journey, then you always pray to Ganeshji so that there is no obstacles in whatever new project you take. So, and Ganesh is for anything you start, new event, new journey, new whatever, a new travel. And Saraswati is more for a new educational project or project of that nature. So very nice. So all of you should have one such prayer. You should, your parents can teach you. You can Google it. They're all there. And we all take turn every time and read it out here. So do you have any question on what we did last time or so far until now?
No, sir. No, sir.
Nobody? You understand everything?
No, sir, no doubts.
Very good. So everybody should in Zoom sign in your name and your roll number, right? So I believe we had brought Lord Ram, Lakshman, and Vishwamitra to Janakpuri. And there's going to be that whole performance of Yagya, Dhanush Yagya, in which there is a big, huge bow of Lord Shiv, and Janak has taken a vow that somebody or anybody, any young man, a prince, who will break this into pieces, my daughter will marry him. And then, we read the whole story that they go to a beautiful park there and garden there in Janakpuri, where Ram and Lakshmana go to pick up some flowers for puja. And at the same time, Sita comes there to worship goddess Parvati, and we talked about Parvati. And they both see each other, and there's a kind of a love at the first sight. And they see each other, they get attracted towards each other, but they don't talk, they don't communicate. They just say, because those were the norms those days. You just don't start talking to a boy or girl just like that. So they were maintaining that decency in some ways. And the Ram Lakshmana come back, and then they go to Dhanushagya, and eventually Ram breaks the bow into two parts. Did we talk up to that last time? So that's why I send you YouTube video also, though sometimes I send late.
Yeah.
I should send earlier.
Yes,
But I
sir.
want,
Yes,
Uh-huh.
sir. And after that, you said in last class that you will tell us the story of that Parshuram.
Parsuram, right. So after he breaks the bow in two parts, the guru or priest of Janakpur, his name is Satanan, he orders or summons Sita that, look, now you come and put garland on Ram. As if that tradition still continues, right? When in Indian tradition, when a wedding happens, then the bride will put a garland on bridegroom's neck here, and then the bridegroom does the same thing. And my understanding is generally the bride who does it first. Bridegroom does this next. So, but that might be different at different places. So now it's all kind of a happy ending. The bow is broken, and Sita had already put garland on Ram, and now the actual wedding should happen. But as we read in novels and stories, whenever the happy thing is going to happen, some villain comes, right? You see a movie, the villain will show up suddenly, right? Unless it's the end of the movie, then the villain is over. So now, within few seconds, they see a man walking into who looks like a sage. His makeup is like a sage. He has beard and long hair and all that, and dhoti, but he is very angry. And he has got a weapon with him, and his weapon is X, A-X-E. Everybody knows what is X, A-X-E, that weapon? So in earlier days, before all this
used to cut a tree.
we used to cut trees. So in earlier days, in India, we used to cut trees or even the logs at home using an X. Now, of course, all the machines and everything you cut through the machines. So, but still, people do use X. So here is his weapon is X. So in our scriptures, different people have different specialization of weapons. So like Ram has Dhanush Ban as weapon, right? Mainly. What is the main weapon of Lord Krishna? Yes, Anjali? Vedansh? Vedansh? Vedansh, what is the weapon of Lord Krishna?
Sir, it's answer. The weapon of Lord Krishna is Sudarshan Chakra.
Sudarshan Chakra, beautiful. So he has a Sudarshan Chakra in his finger, and when he's really mad, he will just give an order, go and kill that guy, and the Sudarshan will start flying, and it's remotely controlled. Now you all have remote toys nowadays, right? It's like remote controlled Sudarshan Chakra, and Sudarshan
It
Chakra will
must be
travel.
voice
And
control.
voice control, okay. Yes, a voice control, right? So all this technology will go and kill the enemy or who's wants to be. So there were the main weapons, of course they could use any weapon, but these are the main weapons. What is the weapon of Hanumanji? Yes, Ishan. Ishan.
Sir, it's Gadha.
Gada. Is da, not dha, da. It's like a, there's a difference Gada and Gadha. See, there are some kids are laughing. So Gada, oh, because you are from Chennai. See, it's in South, the Gita will be spoken more like Gita, right? Like Savitri will be said like Savitri, or Gayatri is Gayatri. This is all accent. So the Gada is that mess, you hold on that with a kind of pumpkin at the top of it, in pumpkin shape. So Gada. So all our these gods have their own specialized weapons. So the weapon of Parashurama is X. So he comes and is very angry with his weapon. And it is known, or it has been, it is believed that Parashurama is also incarnation of Lord Vishnu. So he is incarnation just before Ram. Ram is, I think, 7th incarnation of Vishnu, and Parashurama is 6th incarnation of Vishnu. So it's kind of an interesting thing that two incarnations are at the same time, Parashuram and Ram. And Parashuram actually continues till Krishna's time. When the next incarnation happens as Lord Krishna, which is the 8th incarnation, Parashuram is still there. And then Parashuram lives in in wilderness. He's teacher, he's given up all the arts, but he still teaches to some selected students. So in Krishna and Mahabharata time, who were the students of Parashuram? Anybody knows? Some very famous students Parashuram had in Krishna's time. Yes, Anjana, you give me one name, then I'll ask Vedansh another name.
Arjun.
Arjun, not Arjun, think again. But Vedansh, give me one name. Yes, go ahead.
Its answer is Karna.
Karna is one of his students. Very good. He has two more students, in very famous students, and probably they're more famous than Karna in Mahabharata. They're students of Parashuram. One is Guru Drona. The Drona was teacher of all Kauravas and Pandavas, right? So they all went to the Drona school, and Drona taught
Who was
Kauravas
the
and Pandavas.
both Kauravas and Pandavas, sir? I didn't listen.
Now, Kauravas and Pandavas Guru was Drona, right? Guru Dronacharya.
Acha, Dronacharya, yes, Dronacharya.
And Guru Dronacharya's Guru was Parashuram. So Dronacharya went to Parashuram school.
I got confused.
And he got education. And the great grandfather of all these Pandavas and Kauravas, Bhishma Pitama, he was also a student of Parashuram. So Parashuram must have been a great teacher. He taught, Guru Dronacharya, just imagine, right? And he taught Pitama Bhishma. So he must have been a super teacher. And they all learned those days. Of course, they learned scriptures from these gurus, but they also learned. These were all princes, right? Bhishma, Pitama. Well, Dronacharya was a Brahman, but Pandav, Kaurav. So the first thing they wanted to learn how to use weapons rather than learn anything else. So he must be really excellent. Now, why he is so angry, Parashuram here? He comes, looks like a sadhu, looks like a sage. Sadhus and sages are supposed to be quiet, shant, right? But it's very angry. Why, Anjali?
I think he's angry because Ramji broke the bow.
But why did he care? Right? That's true. Your answer is correct. But why did he care, Ayati?
Is it because the bow was Shiv's bow?
Again, why did he care? That's also correct answer. Shreyans?
It's because Parshuram was a avatar of Shivji and he was angry that Ram Bhagwan broke the bow.
Yeah,
That's
Parusram
why.
was not avatar. You are close answer, but not quite correct. Yeah, look, Anjana has another answer. Go ahead, Anjali.
He was worshipper of Shivji.
Worshipper Sibji, okay, close enough. Medansh. Go ahead, Medansh.
Sir, it's because Shiv was his teacher, Parshuram's
He
teacher,
was
and
his
he
guru.
was said
Very
to
good.
take care of it.
So Shiv was his teacher, Lord. So he learned, he was a student of Lord Shiv. And when that Dhanush was broken, we talked about it last time, it was a very huge Dhanush, not an ordinary. It made a huge sound, and he heard that in jungle wherever his ashram was, and he says, "Oh, somebody broke my guru's Dhanush. How dare anybody can do that?" That's why he was very angry, right? So he has some relationship with that, some emotional feeling with that Dhanush. So he was, if it was anybody else's Dhanush, he wouldn't care. But it was his guru's Dhanush, it was broken, so he was just mad that how can he do that? So he comes there, and now this is the Janak's court, right? So comes there, naturally he's going to ask Janak, hey Janak, now just tell me immediately, who broke this Dhanush? I don't want to discuss anything. I don't want any tea, coffee, chai, nasta, nothing. Janak says, okay, come down here and have it. You want to have some Starbucks or what kind of coffee you want, sir? So nothing. Like, I don't want it Starbucks. I just want to know who broke this Dhanush. Now the story goes that Parashuram took birth as incarnation of Lord Vishnu. So we believe that Lord comes and take incarnation whenever there is a crisis on earth. So Ram took avatar because of Ravana created a havoc on earth, right? So, and everybody was scared of him. Nobody could do nothing about him. He terrorized the whole world. So everybody went to Lord Vishnu that please save us. He's so powerful, we can't do nothing about it. So Lord Vishnu says, okay, take it easy. I will take birth and as a prince in Ayodhya and then take care of it. And same thing, Lord Krishna. He also took birth so that he can get rid of, Kans and other bad evils like him. So why did Parashuram take avatar? Because those days there were a lot of kings in the country, and they all became very unruly. They all were exploiting the public, they were torturing them, they were not doing their job as a king would do. King is supposed to protect and nourish their people, but they did the opposite. They were torturing public, they were not protecting them, and the whole earth was terrified by those kings. So he took avatar and he killed all the Kshatriya kings. The story says he did it not once, not twice, 21 times. So it was so powerful, he killed all the kings once, twice, 21 times. He wanted to just get rid of that entire race. So when he comes to the court and he says, who killed this? Who broke this bow? I'm coming to Ayati in a second. Everybody was terrified because everybody knew how powerful Parashuram was. Nobody could challenge him. There was no one on this planet, on this earth, that could match Parashuram. So now if Janak would say that Ram broke this bow, then Janak knew Parashuram will instantly kill Ram. He will take his axe and just hit Ram and Ram will be dead. He wouldn't like that. His daughters to get married to him, right? Everything is done. Now he cannot tell lies also that, oh, I don't know who did it. Obviously, he knew who did it. So he just kept quiet. He's terrified and couldn't tell the truth, just kept quiet. Yes, Ayati, what was your comment or question?
You already answered the question.
Okay. So sometimes there's a lesson here that there may be situations in our life when it's better to keep quiet, because either way we can get into trouble, right? So Janak thought it's better for me to keep quiet, because if I say Ram did it, then Ram will be killed instantly. So if I lie and say something else, then I will be caught anyways. So I better be quiet right now. For now, what is the worst can happen? Worst can happen if I remain quiet, he might kill me. Okay, fine. But at least will not kill Ram. So now he got very angry and he started shouting in that court of Janak that who did it, and I'm so brave, I've done this, I've done that, I've killed this Chatris for multiple times, and how dare anybody can do that. So when all that happened, Lakshman also couldn't control himself. So he rose and told Parashuram that, why are you getting so mad? It's just a little bow. It just broke. What's the big deal? We can get you another bow, or we can we can go to Walmart or some store or do online Amazon and buy some bows for you. You give us your address. We'll deliver it to your home. He got more mad, obviously, when he say like that. Now there's a joke here. I'll tell you this. So, in school system, I don't know if it happens these days. When I was in school, this is very common. Our school was like government school. So every now and then, the government will send an inspector to school to inspect that how the classes are going, how the teachers are teaching, and whether the kids are actually coming to class or what is going on, right? So once when the inspector comes to school and he goes to a class, maybe a 5th standard class, and so I'll ask some questions to these kids if they're really learning anything. So it was a history class. He asked, "Okay, guys, have you been taught the story of Ramayana?" They say, "Yeah." He said, "Okay, who broke Dhanush of Shiv?" So all the kids were quiet. And then he asked, "Okay, Anjane, did you break?" "No, sir, I didn't break." I said, "Did you break?" No, sir, I didn't break." So all kids said, "No, sir, I didn't break." So this is we'll be in trouble, if then they asked teacher that, what is going on? Why these kids are answering like that? Well, sir, my kids are very nice. None of them broke. So please trust. They didn't break any of this, Dhanush. We don't do such thing. We're very nice kids. So do you know who broke it? Well, sir, I also don't know who broke it. I have no idea. So then they go to the principal's office and the principal, what is going on in your school? Nobody seems to be knowing who broke Shivji's Dhanush. Well, sir, our kids are very nice. None of our kids could do anything like that. They didn't break it, and none of our teachers will do that. And I didn't break it. We didn't do any of that. So the inspector was very annoyed that these guys they don't know anything about it. Even the principal doesn't know. But so he was still angry. Then sometimes principals think that he will write a bad report about us, right? That must be Dhanush must have been broken, and now he's in the report that in this school Dhanush was broken, and we may lose our funding and grants and all that. So, sir, why don't we buy new Dhanush and just get over with it? Why? Let's just make it up somehow. This is a joke, obviously. So none of these people in the school, neither the students nor the teacher, knew this story of Ramayana. That's why they're saying, I didn't break it. So eventually, there was a big argument between Lakshman and Parashuram, because Parashuram gets mad at Lakshman gets mad at Parashuram, and then Vishwamitra says, okay, this very heated argument is going between these two gentlemen, and Parashuram is very, very powerful, and Lakshman is also very, very powerful, and if they start in some kind of a war or battle, man, that will be destruction of the whole world. So He tells Ram, that Ram, it is time for you to get involved. And then Ram rises and very politely, that's the nature of Ram, he's always very polite. He gets up and tells Parashuram, the sir, why are you getting so mad? Dhanush is broken, and that's only some small servant of yours can do things like that. It's not something, we did it intentionally. It just so happened that I happened to touch it and it just broke. So I'm sorry, it's not much of a fault of mine. So the Parashuram gets very confused that the one brother is so shouting and arguing with me, and the other brother is very quiet. And that happens in the families. I'm sure in your families you might find that you are very quiet and your brother is very mischievous, right? Right. All the girls will say yes to that, I know. So, or I'm very quiet. My other sister is very nagging. So that all brothers will say that. So he was just confused with that. But and this boy is so humble, so polite. He's admitting he broke it, but still is saying in such a decent manner. So something is special about him. So he asks him some more questions. Ram responds very politely, but very firmly. He lets him know that I'm polite, but I'm not weak. There's a difference between being polite and weak. Some people are polite because they're weak or they don't have courage. That we are not scared of you, but we're simply just polite. It's our nature. So Parashuram gets insight that he is none other than my next incarnation. But still not very satisfied to hear his own bow. As I said, there are multiple weapons, but one was axe, which is the main weapon, but his own bow, he says, okay, look, I have my bow, I'm giving it to you and see if you can lift that. So it's okay. So as he's trying to give that bow will automatically went in Ram's hand. So Parashuram was very surprised that how did it happen? He must have some divinity or divine power to do that. So he recognizes that and he prays to Ram and asks for an apology and goes back to a forest. So this whole Ram, Parashuram, Lakshmana dialogue is very interesting dialogue in Ramcharitmanas. This dialogue is practically missing in Valmiki Ramayana. There's hardly any mention. There's a mention, but very brief mention in few lines. But it's a very big dialogue in Ramcharitmanas and people really love reading this dialogue. So now, big problem is kind of solved. The Parashuram came and created a havoc there. Everybody was terrorized. Janak was terrorized. Sita was scared. What's going to happen? But it got solved. He went back to forest. Actually, he gave up weaponry after that. Okay, now somebody has taken my position, which is Ram. So I don't have to do these things anymore. So what is going to be, what will happen next now? What do you think? Let's see, who is not spoken at all today. For some poor people, I can't see their face. So, Akarsh, do you know what will happen next now? I don't know this thing or not.
They go back to Ayodhya.
They will go back to Ayodhya? Okay, very good. Anybody else? What Shreyans? What will happen next now? Yes. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead, Medansh. You go ahead. Okay, Shreyans is trying.
Actually,
Shreyans is
then
trying
actually he sends the message that King Janak sends the information about these things and sends the message to Ayodhya.
Our message is about what? So now, next thing is going to happen is they still have to get married, right? The condition of them getting married has been fulfilled, but they're not married yet, right? So the marriage has to take place. So now again, Janak asks his Guru and Guru Vishwamitra, all right, Parashuramji is gone. Thanks God for that. now we need to perform the wedding. So please tell what's the next step. And Guru Vishwamitra advises them, look, these are the princes of King Dashrath. So now we need to send message to them that your son has done such a great job and now he's marrying our daughter Sita. So please come and join the wedding party, bless the couple and so on. So Janak does that. He sends his emissaries to writes a letter and sends that letter with emissaries to King Dashratha that this is what has all happened. And of course, when the news reaches Dashrath, he is very overjoyed. He shares with his guru and with his whole family that, wow, wonderful things have happened. Our son is safe. Our sons are safe. They killed all Talaka and other demons in the forest. After that, they converted Ahilya from stone to a woman. And now they have done this. And now he's going to get married to Sita, the princess of Janakpur, princess of Mathura. So now we need to go. So they all assemble and form a barat, barat or procession, right? And to go to Mithila. So they form a barat and there's all thousands of people, I suppose, with chariots and elephants and, all well decorated barat. So this is one barat which doesn't have a groom, right? We have seen a lot of barat, but every barat has a groom, right? This barat has no groom. The groom is already there. So that's funny thing in this barat, very interesting thing. Everybody is happy. Barat is coming, the procession party is coming without groom. Well, they come and they meet.
Sir, I want to say something.
Go ahead.
Actually, it is said that Lord Ram's Barat is called as Bin Dulhe ki Barat.
Bin Dulhe ke Barat, yeah. You all understand Bin Dulhe ke Barat? Now, what is Dula? You don't know Dula? So Dula means?
Sir, what?
Dula. This is a Hindi word. Dula. Groom. Bride. So the
Yes,
bride
groom.
and the bridegroom. Groom is Dula. So this is a Barat without groom. So which is kind of unusual. Usually you can't have Barat without groom. You have to have groom, and there could be some more people. So they all come to Mithila, and now all the wedding, as you know, all Hindu weddings happen. Both parties assemble, and the pandits are called. The fire is lighted, and yagya happens, and things like that. So Ram and Sita both get married, in a traditional Vedic, following Vedic tradition. Now, what happens to Lakshmana? Now, Lakshmana also gets married. So now he has, yes, go ahead, Ayad.
Don't all the brothers get married?
All brothers get married. So how many brothers were there? I forgot, a long time ago. Any of these people were hiding? Now, Jyoti Kiran, what's your name, beta? I see the only name Jyoti Kiran here. Hello? Ira, do you know what are the 4 brothers' name? Ira?
No.
4 brothers' name you don't know. One is Ram. And what is the second one?
I don't know.
You don't know any other name?
No.
Okay. Okay, Devanshi, do you know any other name? Devanshi? Okay. And who is there under the screen? Jyoti Kiran? No. Okay, now so many hands are up, so I don't know whom I call. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Okay. Okay, Shreyans, go ahead. Shreyans, go ahead. Shreyans, can you-
Bharat, Ram, Bharat, Shatrugna, and Lakshman.
Okay. So Ram, Bharat, Shatrughna, and Lakshmana, right? The four brothers. So oldest is Ram, right? So Ram gets married to Sita. And who is next to Ram? Who's the next younger brother? Anjali? Yes, Anjali.
Bharat.
Bharat, very good, excellent. So we talked about that when we talked about their birth, that next to Ram is Bharat, not Lakshman, as a lot of people misunderstand. So Bharat gets married to whom? Yes, Medansh. What, Medansh?
Urmila.
Mismatch. So Bharat gets married to. Okay, whom does Urmila get married to? Not to Bharat. Yes, Anjali.
Lakshman.
Urmila gets married to Lakshman, and Bharat gets married to. Yeah, yes, go ahead, Anjali.
Madhavi.
Mandavi. Mandavi. Shreyas, you need to adjust your camera a little bit. We can't see your face. Yeah, there you go. So Mandavi. And Shatrughna get married to Shruti Kirti. Her name is Shruti Kirti. These names are not very commonly used, so many of you may not know. We know Ram Sita, main pair, that the main storyline is Ram Sita. Then Bharat Mandavi, again Mandavi is name at least in Ramcharitmanas. After this, we never see that name again. Then Lakshman Urmila, again Urmila's name we never see again in the entire book. And Shatrughna, Shruti Kirti, again Shruti Kirti's name we don't see again. Even Shatrughna's name we see just couple of times, not much. So his mention is very limited in Ramcharitmanas, right? So all four brothers get married at that occasion.
Sir?
Yes, go ahead, Devan.
Yes, sir. Actually, I have some network issue in my house, and so I'm on data network, so it's getting disconnected again and again. So I have to leave now for like
Okay.
just leave
Okay.
because, and I'll join when the network comes back.
Okay, very nice. All right. So all four brothers get married, right? By traditional Vedic parampara or tradition. So after they all four after they all, I watch my time here. So all of them get married and they come to, now the marriage is done, all happy days are there. So they seek permission from Janak that, okay, King Dasharatha seeks permission of Janak, King Janak, that, oh, King Janak, our boys and your daughters, we all got married. Everything is done. The party is over. Now, please permit us to go back to our home, which is Ayodhya. And King Janak insists, no, one more day. And they keep staying there for several days like that. But eventually, you got to go your home, right? So eventually, King Janak permits them to go. So they all, four brothers and now four their wives, four new brides, they all travel to Ayodhya. And after some days, whatever days it takes on the road, they reach Ayodhya. And everything is fine and happy in Ayodhya. So this is where the first chapter of Ramcharitmanas or Ramayana is over. So Ramayana has 4 chapters. One is they're called Kand. So first is Bal Kand. The second is Ayodhya Kand. Third is Aranya Kand. Fourth is Kishkinda Kand. Fifth is Sundar Kand. And sixth is Lanka Kand. And seventh is Uttar Kand. In Ramcharitmanas, Balkand is the longest. It has got many, many other stories which we did not talk about. In this Balkand, if we focus on Ram's story, the story is from his birth till he gets married. In the main events, if we summarize his birth, he's going to school, getting education at Guru Vasisht, then Vishwamitra bringing him from Ayodhya to protect him, then killing Tadka and Subahu and other demons and sending Marich to Ravan with a message that his time is coming up soon. Then traveling to Mithila, on the way, meeting Ahalya and converting her from a stone to a woman. Then coming to Mithila and meeting Sita in that garden in that park. And after that, breaking the bow and then encounter with Parashuram. And then eventually their wedding and coming back to Ayodhya. This is the basic storyline of Balkand. And that's where the first chapter ends, which is called Balkand. Now, when we meet in the class next time, we will talk about once you reach Ayodhya, it's kind of a happy day. Everybody's happy, it's a celebration, there's a party going on, that, our sons are married, and we got new brides in the family, and, celebration goes on for days and days and days. But that celebration doesn't last for too long. And that story will start, in the next class. So before I go to the next class, talk, which we'll do in the next class, we'll not do today. You have any question? So we have done 1, 2, 3, 5 classes so far. Do you have any question on whatever we have done so far, or anything that in your mind that you would like to ask me? Nobody?
No questions, sir.
How is that? Any curiosity or anything that has been kind of bothering you? Or if I have answer, I'll give you even other than Ramayana. Doesn't have to be Ramayana. Okay, very good. Now going forward, do you have any suggestion in the format of the class or anything you like to suggest? Any changes you want to make? I'm avoiding using PPT and all that. Would you prefer that I use PPT? Or you prefer this kind of a dialogue as we have?
It's nice when it's interactive, sir, rather than when it's a presentation.
Okay. Everybody feels that way? Tell me honestly your viewpoint, or any other you want me to show you some. See, some people suggested, not you. So I seek feedback from other people that should show some pictures, of Ram and Sita and all that. But I feel that you kids are mature enough to see that I show you pictures. Those are good for some 5 years, 4 years, 6 years old young kids. Right? If I show you a picture of Hanumanji or talk about Hanumanji, I don't know how it matters. Do you think you like to see pictures?
Sir, we are doing great the way we are doing now, so it's
Yes, sir. I agree in that.
Okay. Very good. Okay. So since we have time, there's one issue coming up now. It's next class on 24th October, which is fine. After that, the class on 14th November. And those of who are in US, you know that our clock will change. We'll be 1 hour behind or ahead. I don't know which way it goes. On 7th November, class will change. Now we are running this class by India's time. We started 8:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. And if we continue with that, it's going to be 9 a.m. in Houston and 10 a.m. in Houston, Chicago, and 10 a.m. in New Jersey, like 1 hour before our normal time. We can do that, or we can change the schedule to like half an hour later. So it will be half an hour late for India and maybe half an hour early for US kids. So like it will be 9 p.m. We start at 9 p.m. by India time, and it will be 9:30 a.m. in Houston and 10:30 a.m. in New Jersey. So do you guys have any preference?
No, sir. We're
But-
fine.
Okay.
So what I'm
Okay,
so,
sir,
so what I'm
but I
going.
need to manage because I go to sleep every day.
Yeah, I know it's in India. I don't want to delay too much because I don't want children to keep awake too late. But at the same time, I don't want the kids in US to wake up too early for this class. So that's a kind of a thing. So I was thinking we'll find a mid-course solution. We change by half an hour. So in India, we start at 9 p.m. and in US we start half an hour before, something like that. So what I'm going to do is, since it's going to be on 14th November onwards, 14th November till mid-March, and after that again the clock will change. So I will post that question on our WhatsApp group, and so let your parents also think about it and express their view. But I'm thinking more in terms of that half an hour change. So it affects half an hour to children in both the countries, in US and as well as in India. Okay. Okay, very good. I don't think I have anything else to say. So our class today is ending a little bit early. But you have any question, you can ask me. Otherwise, we can just close the class. How about an exam? You want an exam? No, not an exam.
Yes, I want.
Don't mind. I don't mind it, sir.
I don't
I
mind.
don't mind, sir, for the exams, but yeah.
Chapter 1 exam, I would say, right? Okay, very nice.
We can
Chalo,
also, we can also
we'll-
make a little quiz in our class.
Okay, let me think about that. All right, let's just close this class for now. Today we are a little bit 10 minutes ahead of time, so that's fine. And next week when we get together, we will talk about what happens once they are in Ayodhya and how the story goes beyond that. But you should see all previous videos. That always helps to review what we have done and reinforce. Share with your friends, and those videos, and see if they want to come to the class and learn along with you. All right. Okay. Very good. Thank you, children, and make sure all of you have signed in your name on the chat. And I will, Ramji willing, I will see you in 2 weeks. Okay. All right.